Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Hello friends, hello foes, and welcome to the Comedian Ons. It's a podcast we tried to start with 13, and here we are, it's 2021, so do the maths. Today I'm always joined, as I am always joined by, and always joined by, it's the man who I'm reliably informed also goes by the name Prince of the Swans. It's Jono.
Yes, he is. I got adopted by the Swans at Albert Park one day when I was down there just going for
you know what?
Sunday stroll, and I rose through the ranks. I did. Not yet the king, but Prince is good enough start.
Are you one of those swans that has the black feathers, or one of the other ones that are bad?
I'm mainly black feathered. I have one white feather and one red feather.
Where's the red feather?
On my underbelly, slightly to the left. So it's quite exciting. But Joshua, something that is nowhere near as exciting as being the Prince of the Swans is working, you guessed it, in hospitality.
Let's go!
Yes, our favourite segment, what's quickly becoming our favourite segment, and it's also quickly running out of content, is Hospitality Tales.
Cue the intro. It's Hospitality Tales. Something, gotta have whales. Da-da-da-da. Yeah.
Beautiful tones on that one, Joshua.
That was so good. I'm so good at singing.
So good at singing. But this one, we take us back to, it was the start of this year, actually. It was in February, and it was the first time that we had one of those snap lockdowns.
A classic.
So, yeah, we'd come out of the big boy lockdown, and then we had the little quick cheeky one. And
we had a couple of quick cheeky ones there, didn't we?
Yeah, I think this was the first cheeky one, and it was because of that. It was a bit of fun because we're going back into it, and we all loved at the cafe. We loved the lockdowns because it was just a little bit easier for us. We didn't have to do as many things. It was more high volume for sure, but we were just standing behind the counter doing stuff.
Famously, the place you went had those fancy picnic baskets.
Yeah, the picnic
pack. I never got to have one, but they looked. Everyone who came out of that cafe had a picnic pack, and I was jealous.
Yeah, they're actually really, really good. Like honestly, like really, really nice. But yeah, they're a lot to put together. So this snap lockdown, it happened in February, around the start of the year. And February is really, really hot. And on, if you didn't know, if you weren't
I've been told. That's how that works.
It's not like you've lived in Melbourne.
No, I wouldn't know. I'm not from here.
No. And for Mars is actually pretty cold, I hear.
Well, exactly. That's why I wouldn't know. That's why I wouldn't know.
On the hot days, the cafe generally wasn't that popular in the afternoon, especially with takeaway. People can't be bothered. And at this stage in the game, I definitely wasn't the best employee there, but I was one of the most experienced. Right. Very clear distinction.
there's been there a while, and there's actually being good at what you do.
Yeah, very different things.
Two things.
And
two separate things.
Joined with me on that shift was someone who was trialing. They're on their second trial shift, but they'd worked in hospitality before, so they're okay. And then we had one other employee, just because it was quiet. We didn't really need a crack team on. And she was just sort of helped out. Didn't really know how to make coffees or wasn't too capable on the reg and stuff. She was just like an extra pair of hands. And this day, everything just sort of happened at once, where it was, because it was really, really quiet. We are like, okay, what are we going to do? I called the boss. He's like, just shut like 2 hours early, like in the next hour, just shut. I'm like, okay, that's good. So we had to.
And those are the best kind of days as well.
Oh, right? It's so good.
When you're told you can leave early from work and you're like a couple of hours. Especially on a hot day.
It opens up. Exactly. It opens up the whole afternoon for you.
Obviously.
It's nice. So yeah, we were starting to quickly, start packing up so we could close in the next hour, and then got a phone call from a guy, and he was a delivery guy.
This seems fun.
Yeah, he was a delivery man, and he's like, oh, I dropped off some packages for you guys earlier, and he was like one of our suppliers,
right?
And it was of like the stationery stuff, so like cups and boxes and all that kind of thing.
Sure.
And he's like, I dropped by earlier in the morning and gave some packages. I'm like, yeah, it's all good. And he's like, somewhere along my route, I've given a box that's meant to go to another cafe, and I don't know which cafe I dropped it off at. It'd been like the 15 places.
Okay.
And one of the boxes that was meant to go to one place had gone to one of the other 14 places.
Okay. So I'd like to pause you there. Pause for a second there, Jono, because at this point, There's only one of few things. There's only few things that this sentence is going to end in.
Yep.
Either, do you really want this box?
Yeah.
B, do you want to go and look for it?
Yeah.
Because C, I'm not going to go look for it.
It's honestly what it was, but
Okay.
I'm too nice. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to look for this guy because he's like, yeah, like, thank you so much, blah blah blah. And I'd already put everything away, and it was just a nightmare. And I remember, like, the two girls at the front weren't the most capable because one was new, one was just learning.
Right.
So I was kind of the only person who had any idea what was going on. So I was trying to keep control of that, make sure they weren't getting too busy, and then try and unpack the whole shop and look for this box as this guy left. I was getting a bit flustered because this is my first time in kind of like the in charge role.
Oh, no.
And at the same time, we're trying to close the shop, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I give up looking for this box. I go out the front, and this couple comes in, and they order some tacos. And I think they ordered chicken or whatever. I'm like, yeah, no worries. Pop it through. The kitchen cooks it. They go out in their car. 10 minutes later, whatever, it's ready. Take it out to them. They drive off. Happy days.
Everything's good. Good stuff.
Everything's
that seems
good.
Great. What possibly could go wrong?
Then what always goes wrong, the one thing that could always possibly go wrong, always goes wrong, was they came back and their chicken tacos were fish tacos. I go, I'm so sorry, blah, 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 blah. Like, I'll get them to redo it. When it's clearly my fault, the chef never get it wrong. It's always me who gets it wrong.
Right.
I'd put it through as fish instead of chicken. I'm like,
is that one of those things where it's you can't? Because sometimes, like, if I'm like scrolling through a little one of those like drop down menus and you're quickly trying to do it, you might accidentally click the wrong one, even though you're so used to clicking the one.
100%. That's what it is. I used to do it all the time with ham and cheese and tomato toasty. It just looks the same. It's in a similar spot. And then sometimes I swear the buttons switch around. I think they do it. I think the boss did to keep us on our toes. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'll put it through again. I didn't want the chefs to know that I'd screwed it up. So I just put it through as a new docket, and then I changed the price after the fact. So we're all good. Yeah. And then I take it out to them. I'm like, I'm so sorry about that. Blah, blah, blah. Drives off. Now, Joshua, making a mistake once is okay. But making the same mistake twice, well, that's just unforgivable. He comes back in and he goes, hey, mate. I'm like, I didn't, did I? And he's like, yeah, you did.
Oh, no. How do you do that twice?
I felt terrible. Like, he didn't care, but at this point, they probably like, 5 minutes will pop and get lunch. It's like 40 minutes at this point because they've had to remake their thing like 3 times. And he's like, yeah, like, we would have eaten it, but like, she's allergic to seafood. I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah, that would be the problem.
Because I told I'm so sorry. Like, I got it wrong. She's like, oh, no, it's okay. It's okay. I'm like, no, this is like the second time I got it wrong.
Yeah,
like,
the second time.
She's
you
like,
have no excuse.
Oh, no.
What do you do with that second excuse?
Yeah.
No.
So, not the best day.
Not the best day.
They did get their taco in the end, and I think I gave them a brownie or something to make it up, because if anything solves problems, it's brownies.
Jono, it's time for one of my favorite segments that's now reoccurring. It's technically reoccurring.
Yes.
Let's go. Hit the opener. I get irrationally angry.
What an opener!
Oh, wow, that was so great. I'm glad we had that live.
I think my favorite thing is just leaving a half a second gap to cut in the edit and then reacting straight away. It's my favorite game now. Yeah, wow, we definitely have a sound deck and a button pusher. And we're not doing this on Discord.
This is live. This is so live.
We're in the same room,
good in my headphones.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm glad we're doing this in the same room and being very careful with COVID restrictions, obviously, Jono.
6 meters apart.
If you didn't understand what the opener is, the opener is for the segment I debuted last week, getting irrationally angry. This is when you're not annoyed at something because you know it shouldn't be annoying. It's just something that just feels not right, and you get angry irrationally, as the opener suggests.
It's one of those things where you are aware that you're being a bit of a Karen about it.
It's not even a Karen thing. It's just you're self-aware of your anger.
Exactly. You know, this shouldn't upset me, but it does.
It does. And Jono, this has to do with the news. And I don't know about a
Okay.
lot of people, but I'm sure there's lots of things that make people angry about the news. This isn't a
Yes.
particular story, but methods in which stories are told.
Okay. Yep.
I'm one of those people. I don't know if you know this, Jono, but I did politics, so therefore I
Oh,
read articles because
you're a politician.
that's what people do, right? But
Yes.
one of those things has to do with it's not. I'm not talking about the high class like media outlets. I'm talking about like mid to sort of slightly less than mid,
News.com
like
kind of level.
maybe even lower than news.com. I'm talking like Screen
Oh,
Rant. I'm talking
like
about like stuff you find in like Google, your Google News.
pedestrian.
Yeah,
Yeah.
particularly happens when you're like on your phone. If you've got your Google, if you've got like Google News or Apple News
Google
on your
News.
phone,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it's not something that you're used to seeing one of those articles. It's just an article that's designed to get your attention so you can click on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So when I say I'm politics student, I read articles, what I really mean is my phone is feeding me information. I just listen to my phone.
And you get clickbaited
And
by
I get
what it feeds
clickbaited.
you. Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but it's not about the clickbait, Jono. It's about what's sometimes in them. I'm talking about articles where they'll be, instead of having an actual explanation of what it is, they're just going to reference random tweets that people do.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
know
God.
exactly.
So
And sometimes they take a while to load. So
And
you're like, why is there all this empty
and
space?
you're
And then
scrolling
boom,
down
Twitter,
going,
Twitter.
what the hell this is?
Yeah.
I'll give you an example I saw the other day. And I'll call them out for this. This was on the ABC website. This was ABC
Yep.
News.
Very
It was
reputable.
Very reputable. But they had one of these things where instead of doing like a cut to, what do you call those? Like a vox pop, right? Where they
Yep.
cut to someone on the street and they ask them what they do. They don't ask anyone on Twitter. They'll just drag a random comment that's vaguely clicked that they've just looked into the type. They've gone into the trending tab and scrolled down till they found a tweet.
Yeah,
that
it's
goes,
not
"This seems good enough."
directly involved with it. They've just,
No.
gone through the
No,
hashtags.
they've gone through the hashtag and found a tweet that's close enough that makes maybe like 10% of a point, and then take another
just
one.
to back up a
Yeah.
small part of their
So
claim.
it might
Yeah,
be
yeah.
something like, and one thing in the news is they had to do with New South Wales politics, and it'll be like, and then it was just this tweet that was just like, that leader really should step down. I'm like, no, what kind of tweet is that supposed to do? Why are you giving me this tweet? What's the
I can
point of
just,
it?
yeah, it's
I'd rather
almost...
you just write something that's actually going to give me some information. Don't just get some dumbass on Twitter to put something there that they don't even know is going to be. I'm like 500% guaranteed that there's no way that someone goes to that person on Twitter and hey, do you mind if I use your tweet on this newspaper? Because why would they care you don't make tweets expecting some dumbass from a news source to reference you as a source.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not even like they take like, someone reputable who's tweeting something actually interesting about the situation. Some kind of political commentator, something like that. No.
It's just John Maloney
It's just-
from Aspendale.
Yes, and you look on his Twitter profile. It's one of those dumb ones that has a list. Loving father, loves football, go D's. And you're like, come on, what are you gonna tell me about this? Why am I interested in this?
Yeah, I know. And exactly. It reminds me of like those it's like when you're referencing in school,
Right.
when you're in high school or
I hate
maybe early uni,
referencing.
you haven't done it much
Yep.
before,
Yep.
where you need to back up your claim, but you've already written your claim, and then
Yep.
rather than going to the source first and seeing what they think and putting that in, you write a claim and then you go, okay, how am I going to back this
Or-
up? So that's what they've done.
Or it's like, you've gone to the end of your paper and you read through the list of stuff you need and it says 10 references. Oh shit, I only have 3 references. Quickly. So go onto Twitter.
Fire up Twitter.
Start scribbling down. All right. As you can see from Gerald from Twitter, this guy has a very adverse reaction to this thing. Great, put that in. We just need to, quote the tweet. It'll be fine. Put that in. It counts as a reference.
Yeah, I have a question for you based
Sure.
off this. When it comes to referencing, I'm writing a thesis at the moment. I'm about to submit,
Wow.
and
Humble brag.
just a casual flex. Just a casual flex.
flex.
Humble brag.
Humble brag.
And it's in the realm of science, and obviously, if it's in the realm of science, you got to have those accurate facts. So
Righto,
obviously, I've got
righto.
pages and pages of references. But would it be good to have a mix of fact and opinion? Because maybe if it's just facts, well, what's the point of having facts if it doesn't have opinion? So maybe I should bring in some tweets as well. Just what
Yeah.
Gary and
you need-
Aspendale and
Yeah, I would
and
just
fill
look
in
up maps on Twitter, and I'm sure you'll find someone who's going to have a great thing to put on. To help
Yeah.
you.
So talking all about, the normalized difference vegetation index and how that relates to the
Whatever
urban
that
heat effect. And I can
geography
just go,
stuff is, yep.
and Pete from Strathmore, he thinks maps are cool. I think that would be good.
No, it's just some tweet from some guy complaining that Apple Maps turned in the wrong direction.
Yeah,
As you can see,
exactly.
this is not what my maps represents. It's actually way better than this.
Joshua, you and I
Hi.
have a cheat sheet
We
for
do?
this podcast. And I would like you to read the people
Shit.
what I have written on the run sheet for this next segment.
I sure can, Jono. It says rain is water.
Rain is water.
Didn't know that. I don't know if that's a statement or a question.
Well,
I can't tell. There's not a
I
full
would-
stop or a question mark.
I didn't include punctuation, but I will be putting a full stop in there.
Okay.
Because rain is water.
I would like
And-
to say, though, I find
Yeah.
it funny if there was a question mark. Rain is water?
Rain is water? maybe next week we can go back to the Dux's Science for Kids and we can figure out
That
if
would
rain
be
is
great.
water.
Maybe I'll come back with some rain facts.
Some rain facts
We can
and
find
fun
out,
facts
is rain
about
water?
rain. We'll find out.
Maybe
That's
you're about
what we
to
can
tell
set
me.
our minds to. Well, my belief so far, without looking on our Twitter for some reputable sources, is that rain is water. People are always saying, like I might go for a walk, blah, blah, blah. Oh, what if it rains? Or I want to do this. Oh, but what if it rains? Oh, let's, go for a drive. Yeah, but it might rain. And even like when you're at the beach, you go, go swimming, go for a surf or whatever. Oh, yeah, but it might rain. These people, I don't think they understand that rain is water. And if you go outside in the rain, I tell you what happens. You get wet.
That's how
And
that works usually. I'd hope
You're a
that...
human. You're not
Usually-
made out of sand or dirt. You don't dissolve. Nothing happens. You're waterproof.
Maybe, are you getting irrationally angry about this,
I
John?
am getting irrationally angry. I'm very passionate about this.
I have to say, my favorite one is when I've been at like going to a beach with some friends or something, and they'll say, "Well, what if it rains?" And I say, "We're in the water anyway. What's the point?
Water.
Are we going to
What
be
is
in the rain?"
point?
I think it comes from like the sense of, well, rain is coupled with cold weather, and if it's cold, who the hell wants to be at the beach? My defense of that is I do like... You okay? You look like you were choking there.
I'm just like dying, choking. Just keep it rolling for a little bit.
No, I will. And I think people are surprised to say that if you
Come
go
back.
in the water and you're swimming, we're just gonna keep that in. I think that's
Yep,
funny.
yep. Keep it in. Just choke on a bit of pepper,
You're right,
guys.
yeah,
No worry.
guys,
Don't worry.
don't think about it. It's fine. That when you're swimming, you get wet, and if it's cold, you don't want to swim.
That's
As someone
true.
who loves swimming, I
Yeah.
disagree. But
Yeah, exactly. But I also don't get the idea of waterproof clothing. I guess it comes from cold. We are waterproof. You don't need to stop your arm from getting wet. 'cause
but what
your
about
arm is
wrinkling? We get
waterproof.
wrinkled, and you have to
Oh,
squeeze
we
a bit of
go,
the
we
water.
go all pruny.
We got all pruny.
Up.
Does that? Oh my god! If you got like baths when you were a kid, people go, "Watch out!"
And you
stay
stay in there for like half an hour or something, too
My-
long, and you get all like pruny.
My favorite part about that is that it felt like it felt like a threat. It felt like, "Watch out, guys! If you stay too long in the water, you'll get pruny." I'm like, "What happens if I get pruny? Will I die?" Am I gonna
we're doing.
Will there be too much osmosis coming out on my skin?
Yeah,
Even though that's not
exactly.
what osmosis is. Don't think about that for a second.
But you go all pruny and
Wait,
raisin. It's a
is-
very
is that how
exciting
you
concept.
die?
As a kid.
No,
Maybe
you
it
just,
is.
You just get
If your whole
pruny.
body
Nothing
goes
ha-
pruny, maybe.
Why
But
do you
what
think-
you were saying
go
about
ahead.
with the cold weather is that I do understand that part of it, because you and I, we used to play hockey for most of the
did.
time. We
Oh,
we
God.
played together as well.
Yep, we
And I
played
just
winter
remember,
hockey as well.
yeah, winter hockey. That's
Winter
the
hockey.
nasty one. Field hockey, and for the younger year levels, it wasn't so much at the end. I just remember year 7 to like year 9. The school did it in reverse order. So the younger you were, the earlier you started. And I remember we'd get on the bus at like 6:30, 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning, and it would be like freezing cold. The whole game, it wouldn't get above like, 8 degrees, like maximum. And I
You
reckon, I
felt
think
like
there
an
was
ice ball.
Yeah, you did. I think there was one season where over 50% of our games were just in downpour.
It was terrifying. We didn't. No one
Absolutely
cared. We just
awful.
still did it though. Like
No,
we
we
were
were still
just
excited
going.
to play.
Yeah, You know what I just realized, Jono?
Mm.
And you've brought it up here, and now it's dawning on me.
Yeah.
Those mother heckers that when we were younger, we had to go earlier. I'm now
Yeah.
realizing what a bunch of BS. What kind of...
Yeah.
That sucks.
That's not
why
right.
Why is that the case? What the hell?
I honestly think they should have done it the other way. But yeah, it'd just be like so cold. I remember like we both wear glasses and it would be
We do.
absolutely tipping down and you can't see. So
No, you can't.
I'd rather be short sighted on the field than have
true.
all rained up
You had to put your little
glasses
fingers in and use it
to
as
do the
little window
windscreen
wipers.
wipers. Your fingers would be on your hockey stick like cold as ice. And I was
Yeah.
always in the back line. You were as
Both
well
of
most
us were
of the time.
most of the time in the back line.
And your fingers would be icebox on the stick, and then the ball would come, and you'd whack it, and you just like feel like all your fingers were just breaking because you'd
Yep.
been in this like torrential rain. It'd be freezing cold. You'd be full of ice, and then I remember getting on the bus one day. Everyone was. I think we probably lost because we always lost.
Yeah, most of the
So
time.
we definitely lost. Yeah, most
Especially
of the time.
those assholes in Ivanhoe. But let's move on.
Oh, and Trinity.
Yeah.
I'll never
Trinity
be able
as
to
well.
sleep past
I
that.
don't care if they come at us. I don't care.
I don't care, but I just
I'm
remember
just
sitting on the
calling people
bus.
out.
I
Go ahead.
remember sitting on the bus, everyone was just kind of a bit dejected. It was dead quiet. And someone just went, if someone came on this bus right now with soup, I would kiss them. And I've never related to anything more. But
don't worry, Jono. Rain is water. So
rain is
rain
water.
is water.
Sometimes water is bad though.
sometimes rain is actually hail, and that hurts.
That hurt. It was hailing this afternoon, and it looks beautiful. But I remember this was in uni. I've done some surveying subjects, standing out in the middle
Wow,
of a
really?
field,
I had no idea.
and it'll be tipping down with rain. But you've got these like instruments that cost like I think the ones we're using are about 10 grand. And if
Jesus
you've got a $10,000 piece of equipment in the rain, you have to finish the uni assignment because the uni doesn't care. They're like you just got to finish it. And I remember we were standing there. There was like 5 of us in this group, chucking it down rain. Our notes were all soggy, blah, blah, blah. And we're just holding the umbrella over the equipment to save the equipment rather than
you.
ourselves. Sacrifice
Oh.
ourselves. Yeah.
Jono, to adapt a phrase for one of my favorite shows, science can be disappointing sometimes.
It can be. It can be. It can be.
And also, one of our favorite songs is going to play into this in a moment, and I'll get to that in a second. But, Jono, when you were a kid, of like those things that you always think about, stuff that might happen in the future, what are those things that like really stand out to you? Things that
Well,
might
what
happen
might
in the
happen
future
in the
that we don't
future?
have right now that sounds great.
I would say teleportation would be up
Teleportation's
there.
a good one. It's a classic one.
The one everyone always comes back to is flying cars. That's a big
and
one.
we've got into the crux of the issue
Have we?
immediately. You
Okay.
caught it.
Okay.
I had more, but we'll just go straight into it.
I was going to say
No, no.
hoverboards as well, but flying cars is
hoverboards
the
is a
one
great
that
one as
everybody
well.
everyone always talks
I will
about.
say that. So Jono, what I'd love for you to do is to check out that link that I dumped in
our run sheet?
in our run sheet while we're watching
Okay.
this.
This YouTube
Recently,
video.
don't open it yet. Actually,
Okay, I've loaded it up. I've got it booted up.
Recently, the first flying car. This flying car has made its first ever complete intercity flight, and that's
I've seen.
really
I've just seen
cool.
the thumbnail. I've
But-
seen pictures of this before.
but-
Yeah.
My imagination of what a flying car is from science fiction and my favorite shows versus what it actually is really disappointed me. So this is a very visual medium, so obviously it's going to be difficult to show off a podcast.
Can I describe what I've seen at the moment?
Sure,
I've just
you
seen.
can show.
I've just seen
press
a
play
lit-
in that video and have a look at what and
Well, in
describe
this
for the
first,
video.
this very first still that I've got,
Yes.
it kind of looks like a big DJI drone kind of thing.
That's a
kind
good
of-
description.
That's kind of what it looks like. Am I watching this now?
Yeah, have a look while we're
doing?
talking.
All right.
And here's my problem.
It's got a
with it.
very nice soundtrack
It's got a
underneath
very
it, by the
nice
way.
soundtrack.
Lovely royalty-free. It's
Yeah.
quite nice.
Yeah, we'll put-
this, Josh. I see your problem with this straight away.
So, Jono, what we'll do is we'll put the link in the description of the podcast
Yeah.
for anyone who's
Yeah.
interested in having a look. Put it up somewhere on our socials as well, I'm sure.
This is
And-
a take.
Here's the problem, John. I have. This isn't. It feels like what's happened here is they've taken a very general description of what a flying car is and really
Yeah.
just added wheels to to a plane.
Yeah,
I'll be
it's
honest.
literally, think of like they've in this shot currently, the car is flying around and there's two like biplane kind of things, like little
Yes,
things
big.
you'd see landing at
Yep, there you
Essendon
go.
Airport
Yes,
flying next to
a
it.
Cessna.
And the only difference is that the car is slightly wider because I'm assuming it's built
They've
of the body of a
put
car.
giant wheels on it because
And
they
it's
so they
got
can
car
call it a flying
wheels.
car.
It's
See
got
again,
car wheels.
what they've
It's got a
done here.
spoiler as
It's
well.
got
That
a
is
spoiler.
nuts.
What they've done here is they've put giant wheels on a plane and called it a flying car. And
That's
I hate to
literally
say
what
it,
it is.
what I was getting to initially at the start as well was like the Seth Sentry song as well.
Yeah,
Dear
the
Science,
hoverboard.
Dear
Yeah.
Science, which is a great example. Great song, go check it out. Blah, blah, blah. But
He does have a point.
he has a
We've
good
got stuff
point.
like smart fridges and stuff. Just give me a hoverboard. I'd much rather that.
True.
Who needs a cure for malaria? Hoverboards.
But when we're all looking for a flying car and we're stuck inside and we're dreaming of what could be, this is really not what I imagined.
No, I've just seen underneath this recommended Casey Neistat got to fly one of these around.
Oh, well, there you go.
The king of vlogging is driving around in a flying car.
There you
Okay,
go.
I've got to admit, when it's on the floor, the wings fold. It's kind of like the Lamborghini doors, and the wings fold back down, and it actually does kind of look like a sports car. It kind of looks like a Porsche.
Yeah.
With a big spoiler. A big spoiler.
True.
Joshua.
Hi.
Hey, how you going? You good? You keeping well?
Yeah, I'm going well. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Things well?
Yeah,
how's
we're
the wife
getting
and kids? They doing good?
They stick around. We might have one someday.
Yeah, might have one someday. Oh, okay, cool. I've got the wrong guy by the sounds of it. I was wondering how little Toby was doing.
Hang up the call and talk to someone else.
You
might have actually meant to be talking to your dad. And I hate to
my
say it.
dad.
That would make
Yes.
the most sense. Yeah.
I was asking, how I was going indirectly through my dad. But where I was going with that, Joshua, is I was going to say that I think sometimes in life it's important to change it up. Now,
Sure.
As we've mentioned too many times already, I'm at the end of uni. I just recently changed careers. I've stopped running the Ultimate Frisbee Club at RMIT. That's
You've
a huge
stepped
thing.
down. You're no longer a disky eliminator extreme.
I'm not
runner
extreme
thing.
mobile discuser.
Sure.
Do you know what that did give me was an excellent chance to post on LinkedIn for the first time.
Oh, I saw that. I felt weird. I was going to respond to that. I was like, I don't know. Am I supposed to respond to this?
It's to do one of those things that's kind of a flex. It shows that you have heart. It shows you have leadership
It shows
experience.
you've done something, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh man, everyone. Then you just farm those likes.
Yeah, it's so when like an employer's like giving me a LinkedIn stalk, they don't just see that Jonathan Steele thumbs up one post. They can actually see that I did something. But
Which I'm pretty sure is exactly what you'd see if you looked on my profile.
yeah, hey, LinkedIn is just so fake though. I love it and I hate it. Yeah,
so
honestly.
much.
But sometimes you actually have to physically change things up.
Sure.
Now, if we have a little clip of this, if you're watching the video version, that maybe be up there. We've had people ask us, "Where is this video version?"
Listen,
well, we referred to it. Doesn't mean it actually
Look,
exists.
here's the thing. I feel this is a great time to address it. We may have jumped the gun a bit on that.
Just a little bit.
But needless to say, stuff is in the pipeline.
If you are listening to this on audio and you hear someone, you're in the video version, you think, that's sick. They've got a video version, blah, blah, blah. They're working hard. Now, we don't, but you think that. No one actually goes and checks out the video version.
That's not fair. It's definitely coming, but it probably won't be a full version.
Just got like a good 16-day shipping period on the, on the video version.
It might up to a month time.
Up to a month because of COVID delays.
Exactly, COVID delays.
But yeah, as the video viewers can see, well, you're facing a slightly different direction tonight, but I have completely rearranged my workstation.
You're in a completely different.
I'm in a different spot. I used to be on the side, and now I'm at the top of the side. I'm on the other side.
You can still see the little
I've got
globe.
a shelf.
Yeah,
you can still see the globe, the kids' globe.
The kids' globe.
But things are different. And it made me think of is when you're a kid, it's just the most exciting thing ever to rearrange your room. I remember just like thinking about this for days and days and days, and then moving the bed from the left-hand side of the room to the right-hand side of the room, and getting Dad to help you, and then you'd go and get Mum to come and have a look.
As well.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh my
and
god.
you'd wake up and expect to be horizontal, but you're
Yeah, and then you
vertical.
fall halfway out of the bed as well.
Yeah, and you
I
get up in the middle of the
like
night and you walk into the wall instead of
walk into
through
the
the
wall.
door.
My favorite thing, and I remember this very clearly, is I remember planning out what it'd be like because I, I was I was
Did
the
you like
oldest
draw it
sibling.
out?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
I was always going. Oh, I can't wait to get a desk. A desk
yeah.
was such a revelatory thing. I'm gonna have a desk. I'm gonna have stuff in drawers. I'll be able
Do you
to
know
write
you've
on my
come a long
desk.
way, Josh? You
I
have two
know.
desks
I
in
have
your
two
room.
desks. I have one
Yeah,
behind me, and I'm holding.
must
I'm
be
on.
nice.
It
Must be nice.
Listen, I'm a common man. I'm a very common man, but that's fair.
But yeah, when you're a kid thinking of those things, it's like really exciting and where you're going to put them and everything. It's kind of similar to like at the moment where we're moving out, moving on, and I
Exactly.
did the like the next level of like I used to do like little sketches. I could put my bed here, I could put my drawers there. I did the next level. I actually got the dimensions of this house that I was looking at from the real estate, and then I
So
mocked it
you
up in
started little putting
3D.
into a plate. Oh yes, you sent
Yeah,
me this. This is
I
true.
I couldn't get the visualizer out of me. So yeah, and it was all correct dimensions with actual furniture and stuff. And
That's
yeah, it's
epic.
nice. But I just remember, yeah, as a kid, like you get mum to come in and she'd stand there and go, "Oh, yep, looks very nice,
Yeah.
very nice," and you'd feel so proud. Your new modern room, and yeah, going to bed in a different spot was so exciting. Yeah.
And sometimes also changing the way you're organized, like just simply
Mm.
changing the way the way I'm on my desk facing when I'm writing and doing stuff
Makes it
on a
fresh.
desk, you feel
Mm.
different and you feel like you've moved on. Let's not think about the mess that might be on the other desk. It's not
Yeah,
important.
yeah,
It's just
exactly.
important to think about the stuff that's happening right now.
I think I am just beginning to realize it's just been falling in my head now. A problem that I've had with this desk, I've just understood where this has come from now. I am a very pale person, extremely pale,
Oh,
and
really? I had no
I
idea.
get I get sunburnt way too easily. If I'm playing frisbee at night time, though, I'd often leave the game on those big stadium lights that they
Oh,
have at like Albert Park and stuff, and I'd feel
wow.
kind of sunburnt. And I looked it up, and I'm like, "Can you get sunburnt from stadium lights?" Turns out,
You
if you're pale,
can.
you actually can. Because
Wow,
everyone's like,
that's
"Oh no, it must be windburn or something." I'm like, "No, I'm legitimately getting burnt from these stadium lights."
do you
And
want
yeah,
go ahead? No. Well, I'll tell you, Jono, talk about
hmm
sunburn. The first time and maybe the only time I'm ever going to get sunburn, and it was a really bad one.
mm.
I was out. It was a boys' trip. We went up to
The
Queensland. The
boys.
boys' trip
For
up at
those who don't
Hamilton.
know you and your boys,
The
you're
boys.
not the boys.
We're not the boys, but you call it a boys' trip. The
It's a
boys.
boys trip. Yeah,
Look, it's let's pretend for a moment that we are the boys.
yeah,
Think
and
like the
we'll pretend that
in-betweeners,
you're
though.
toxically
We're,
masculine. We'll
yeah,
pretend that.
pretend that. I'm more like the in-betweeners if they were
Yes.
less
Yeah.
goofy. Maybe
Yes,
more
I
goofy
think so.
actually.
More
More
goofy. I
goofy.
think that's a
But the
good
in-betweeners.
description.
That's what my crew looked like. Crew.
Yeah.
But we went to like a beachside area, and the weird thing is, if you've never been burnt before, you don't know what that's like. And the worst
I
part is
guess so.
you don't
I'm just so
but
used
like
to
a
it.
sunburnt, right? You
Mm.
definitely don't know what a burn is like, especially if it's somewhere you've never been burnt before. And
Yep.
the time I've been burnt so badly, I went I never knew what it was like, but I got burnt on my back. And it's the worst place to be
It
burnt.
is
It
horrendous.
sucks. It sucks because once it crisps up and like all
Oh,
scabs, you're screwed for the
oh,
rest of the trip. You're screwed for the rest of the trip because you can't sleep on your back. As you sleep
this is
on your
giving me the
board and you can't
heebie-jeebies.
move, it just ruins the rest of the day.
And because you got your shirt on you and it's going against your back as well, that's irritating you. You
And
go in the shower
and
and the water. Oh,
and on top of that, I remember going home and I was like walking and I was somewhere, and it was like I was going home and I was sitting there and I was like rubbing my shirt a bit and I kept seeing like stuff on my chair as I was like getting out. I'm like, what the hell is that? It was flakes of my skin.
it's
Skin was
gross.
peeling off my body
I've got to
because I
that
got
level
burnt.
twice,
It was
and you feel like a
terrifying.
snake. Yeah.
You feel like you're a monster, and
I
I
remember
hated it.
I was at a cafe in like Carlton, and I look at the floor, and I've got all this like skin that I've shedded, like
Oh
on the floor of
no.
the cafe. Whoa. But
Yeah, it's
this
so
sunburn that
bad.
I've got at the moment, I've realized that I'm sunburned. It's nowhere near that level. But I've been going around tonight going, why does my face sting? And I just put it together then. My desk is now, it now faces the window. I have a west facing
Mm.
window. And when you're in Melbourne, that's where the sun comes in the west in the afternoon. And I've been sitting here all afternoon and I've been like squinting. It's not an ideal location. I can
Right.
barely see my screen. I've been squinting. And I think I've just cooked myself by sitting in the window. And
You've
now it's going to get sunburnt
yeah,
by sitting at my desk.
you've apple pied yourself. Apple
I've
pie
apple
on the
pied
window. You've apple
myself.
pied
I've
yourself.
apple pied myself. That is literally the worst way to get sunburned. How weak are you that you can
That
get
is
sunburned sitting at your desk?
that
Oh
is
my
that
lord.
is that is sad, but it's okay. I support you through this, Jono.
It's like, thank you. I
And
feel safe.
I'm realizing now maybe an apple pie is not the right description. Maybe you're more of an apple crumble.
Yes, yes, yes. I think I feel more like an apple crumble. It's like the equivalent of that. I saw this thing on Facebook or something. It's like when you're a kid, you get injured from like trying to jump across like a lake or something, or falling out of a tree. But when
Yep.
you're old, you
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 stub
get
your toe.
you stub your toe, you just walk into something, or you sleep funny, or you sit for too
Oh
long,
my
and that's how
god.
you get injured.
It's the
It's just,
worst.
yeah, it's just not very very
And
exciting ways to
also,
get
and,
injured.
and the other thing about those kind of injuries is that you don't necessarily always know what the hell it is that's the problem.
That's right.
And
That's
also,
right.
being 21-year-old men, I don't know about
Mm.
you, but your first solution is
Well,
not go to the doctor often. It's like,
I'm not a 21-year-old man, so I can't
oh, well,
relate.
fine, okay, you're older.
Yeah, but
Boomer over here.
doctor is never a
Well, no,
solution.
it's always. I wonder if I just sit here and let it sort of play out. Will it just fix itself?
My mum is the same. Like, I'm like, oh, I think I've broken my toe, and she goes like, oh, you should probably go get it checked out. I'm like, but what are they going to do about it? And she's like, yeah, but you should probably get it checked out. I'm like, yeah, but like, I could just be here with a broken toe, and the doctor doesn't know about it, or be here with a broken toe, and the doctor does know about it. It doesn't make a
Because
difference.
isn't it worse going into the doctor and going, hey, so I think I broke my toe. Oh, how did you do it? I was sitting at my desk.
Yeah.
It's really
And
the worst.
and I've got like a swivel chair, and I've got a leg on my
Oh,
desk,
no.
and I swiveled round, and I think I like got it stuck in between. Like, no, no.
Yeah, you become one of those stats that says like the amount of random injuries during quarantine.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'd be a statistic
You'd be
in
one of
that. I'd
those
be proud.
statistics.
I'd be proud. No, oh, so this has got me onto something else. Doctors, okay, hats off to all the doctors out there. Honestly, I would be dead without them. Like, I would. I've had a very troubled medical history, so hats off. But let me complain about you for a little bit.
Irrationally?
Irrationally.
Maybe this
No,
is just the
see,
okay.
it can't
This is
be my
rational.
segment because everything I get irrationally annoyed about everything, so there's no
Ah,
new
so
content anymore.
well, this is
But
unfortunate.
it just made me think of breaking a toe. One day I went to the doctor because I had a really, really sore leg, and I'd been really sore for ages. And I thought, oh, maybe I've like stress fractured or something. Like, I have no idea. And I went to the doctor, and I'm like, oh, she's like, wait here. I'm like, oh, I've just got like a bit of a sore leg. I'm not really sure what's going on. Like, I can't figure out what I've done to it. And she's like, oh, okay, like we can ask a couple of questions and we can maybe figure out what you've done. I'm like, yeah, perfect. That's why I'm here. Like, sounds
Fantastic.
good. Sounds good. She's like, have you been involved in any like motor vehicle accidents or road accidents? I'm like,
Makes sense.
no, I haven't. And she's like, oh, have you been playing sport and had a bad accident with it? And I'm like, no. She's like,
Frisbee's not
did you
that
walk?
taxing.
No, it's not. She's like, did you walk into something? Did something hit you? I'm like, no, okay. These are all things where I would understand why my leg was sore.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
I've been
All of
in a
these things
car
make a lot of
accident.
sense.
Yeah.
She's going, oh no, this person might have forgotten that they were in a car accident. I better double check that
Maybe that's what
they
it
didn't
is.
get run over, because that would be a good example of how they may have actually gotten hurt.
Imagine if I was like there in the morning and I'd just been on a construction site and I'd fallen off the building and landed on my leg. And I've been walking around the rest of the day going, damn, I wonder why my leg's sore. And then I go to the doctor and she's like, oh, have you been involved in a workplace
Oh
injury? And
my
go,
god.
oh, that must be what it is.
That must be it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be here if I
No.
knew the reason. Yeah.
Exactly. Jono, I don't know if you know this, but we grew up on the internet.
We did.
And as people who grow up into, you hear these stories of things and they sound ridiculous.
Yes, definitely.
This is an actual true thing that people do. So I'm just starting with that now before you get confused.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
I have an interesting job that I've been brought to that's been brought to me. That's an actual thing that people do.
Is there a career change brewing? Maybe
it might be a career change. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. I think I might be good at it. I'm gonna tell
I'll be the judge of that.
I will tell you the name of the job, and I want you to guess what you think the job is.
What the job description is. Yeah.
So it's one of these things where it'll sound kind of obvious, but I need you need to tell me what the actual end product of the job is.
Like the specifics of the role.
Right. Sure.
Yeah, gotcha.
The job is called Iceberg Hunter.
Oh my god!
So
wow.
Here's a couple of things that when I first.
This sounds great. Do you want to sign up?
Sounds. Let's just both go iceberg hunting. My first question is, I didn't know icebergs were that crazy that needed to be hunted.
I didn't know they needed to be hunted. I was not aware of that. No.
Do you think that being someone who is vegetarian, you'd be against the hunting of icebergs?
You know what? As someone who likes to stay hydrated, I think I would be all for the hunting of icebergs.
Do you have any
hydrate
guesses?
or dihydrate?
Hydrate or dihydrate? Do you have any guesses as to what you think iceberg hunting has to do with?
I've got two possible things.
All right.
My first is maybe it's for like big shipping, right? Or like cruise ships or something. And they like go around the area that these ships are like the polar cruises and stuff are going through, and they're making sure that there's like no big icebergs under. Yeah, they're like using sonar, radar, lidar, LD, whatever it's called.
Maybe it was like done post Titanic because they were that scared.
That's what I'm thinking. Like the Titanic got a bit of a leak and it fell down.
All right.
Or maybe it's, I don't know. They're just like researchers or something who in these areas are just looking for icebergs and stuff that can be used for like studies that fit the requirements of their study or something like that. They're my two guesses.
I'm gonna be honest. Your guesses are way more cooler than what it actually is. But
really?
I like your shipping one a lot. The actual
I feel
truth,
like that's necessary.
Here you go. The truth of the matter is iceberg hunting has to do with getting like crisp icy iceberg water. For bottling up iceberg water.
Oh wow! No, that's actually okay. Well, the image will include
when you open and this might be a link that I dump in the description.
We can whack this on the TikTok. It can be clearly described. I boot up this web page and it says iceberg hunting. There's a picture of a guy who looks like he's from Alaska.
Yep.
With a gun, and he just pops his shot off at an iceberg. And straight away, like when you first go on the website, you have no idea it's about bottled water. It then goes on to show these people like filling up water bottles from icebergs and stuff. But it's just a guy who looks like he'd definitely vote for Donald Trump and be an anti-masker, popping ones off with an iceberg.
This article is a very fun read. I would recommend it to everyone, and I'll dump it somewhere so everyone can see it. But this guy gave up his job as a fisherman to hunt icebergs instead.
Wow! See, you can make a killing off this.
They hold the ice on the boat.
Oh wow, they do indeed. And look at this. They're selling it for $11 a bottle. That's sensational.
Yeah, Jesus.
There's big money in iceberg hunting.
And there we go, Jono. Another episode of Comedianons.
All done and dusted.
We did it.
And can I say this time, we got to the outro. Last time, we packed up our bags before we got to the outro.
No, that didn't happen. I don't know what you mean. That didn't happen.
We've learnt from our mistakes. This is only, our, I don't know, 5th time doing this. So
I don't know what you mean.
We're getting used to it. We're learning. Another thing that we learnt this episode, Josh.
We did?
And I think should be the namesake of this episode.
Oh, well, what is the name of the podcast, Jono?
Well, we've learned that rain is water, but fish is not chicken.
That sounds like a great name for the podcast.
Yeah, so good. Episode 5, rain is water, fish is not chicken. If people want to find out more about us, Josh, maybe watch some little cheeky videos. Where do they find us?
Oh, you can find us on Twitter, you can find us on Instagram, you can find us on TikTok, and you can find us on YouTube sometimes. How about
sometimes.
that? Sometimes.
And I still have plans to set up a LinkedIn account for this podcast.
Oh, no. Well, Jono, I'll see you next week.
I'll see you next week. Adios.
Adios.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Gracias.
Ah, damn it.
That means thank you. Does gracias mean thank you?
Merci.
Merci beaucoup.